spoilers, by the way, I guess. Skip to this time code, which is just the end of the video, I guess.
It's just a bit links to a different video.
Just like skip to this video to. I'll be sure I don't. Alright, so we just saw the hit movie.
Is it a hit?
Yes, it broke box office. I think it is net gain of $3 billion.
I thought you were gonna say like $3.
Also, do you want to tell the camera like what the movie is?
Yes, I was about to say, we just saw the hit blockbuster movie, It Follows.
Wherever you are, it's somewhere walking straight for you. All you can do is pass it along to someone else.
It Follows. I'm trying not to do it exactly like other channels.
Other channels that do it really well. Well, we only saw it 18 months late,
Yeah.
so we're pretty topical here.
Finally.
If that, like it came out in 2014.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's about a STM, a sexually transmitted monster, where when you have sex, the new person that you had sex with is cursed, and they are being followed by this monster. This monster can take the form of anyone, and it sure does that.
It could look like someone you know, or it could be a stranger in a crowd. Whatever helps it get close to you.
And it just follows you slowly. When it gets you, it kills you. But if you, what?
By sex.
Yeah, I guess so, by sex. By very violent, like over the
That was a
pants
weird
sex.
No. But what did you think of this movie, It Follows?
I think my standards of movies have gotten so low where if I don't hate myself during it, I like it. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie. It didn't scare me, which I like that.
Always
Generally
a
enjoyed
plus.
that fact.
which is upsetting because it's like oh that's so cool. It doesn't rely on jump scares. Well, what does it rely on then? Because
Yeah.
like what is there to scare you? The trailer scared me more than the movie.
No, it's me.
Everything's okay.
I personally didn't care for the movie. I too like the premise. I think it's an interesting premise, and that's what a horror movie needs to like get people into theaters these days. Is that interesting premise,
Yeah.
but it didn't do anything with it. And I don't want to say I didn't enjoy the movie because I thought it was like hilarious, but not intentionally. And
Yeah.
unless they're like experts at making it seem unintentional.
And like it took itself super seriously.
Yeah, it
Like-
definitely did.
We're just like, this is this amazing idea that we have, but we're not gonna do it. We're gonna play it totally straight that there's an invisible monster that can still beat you up even if you can't see it.
Yeah, I think
You
that's
know,
the
like, that was the weirdest
consensus
part.
of what is the biggest complaint about this movie is that it can be anyone, like it can be a stranger or someone you know, like, oh fuck, like what are you supposed to do? And it's like, oh hey Becky, oh fuck.
She's just acting weird.
Like what, like when you have, like it's like, oh shit, that just, and it was somebody, the person who, technically twice, once for the main character and once for the dude. It was his mom.
And that is the biggest thing that I think, like, whether, like, we all kind of feel, like, slightly differently about how much we enjoyed the movie, but I think we all feel the same about the premise, where you, like, the premise itself is good, and when it's like it can be anything, you're like, oh man, what's going to happen? And that first scene after she kind of gets cursed from that guy she slept with, the protagonist, she is all scared and is sleeping in the same house as her friends, and the nerdy guy is on the couch. She comes out and is like, I can't sleep, and then he goes in the room and comes out, goes into a different room, and you're like, this is where they're gonna start like fucking with you.
Yeah.
She's got the
Or
curse
it's
to
like,
explain
who's
how
who?
Yeah.
he's gonna come out of the same room again and like say something or
Just not say anything.
or not say anything and start fucking with that. But it was always just some random person, except one time where it was one of their friends, but it was at a time where everyone was already looking at that friend.
Everyone was facing the friend.
And it snuck up on her, so it doesn't matter that it looked like a friend, and it was just such a...
She didn't even see it.
Yeah, she didn't
Yeah.
see it. It completely snuck up
Like,
on
it wasn't
her.
until, like, she started shooting at it, it was like, oh, that's my friend, by the way.
And that it might have looked like the guy that she eventually slept with when it was breaking into that guy's house. It was hard to tell.
It didn't look
It
too
had
much.
like the same color
When you
hair.
saw his face, though, it did.
Okay,
like,
I didn't see
I
his
feel like
face.
it was his mom the whole time.
Was it? Like, we're gonna go someplace, and then it'll show up, and then we'll go somewhere else, and then it'll show up, and then we'll go somewhere else, and it'll show up, and that was the movie.
Yeah. No, and I thought they were building towards a different conclusion for a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And when you take the whole premise into account, where if the monster kills you, it follows you, and if it kills you, then it starts going after whoever sexed you up to give you the curse, and will go up the chain that way, so that person would have to sleep with someone else to get the curse back on someone. So with that in mind, it does create something interesting where it's like, how's it gonna end? Because if she gets it onto someone else, then she has to hope she gives it to someone like really dedicated, who gives it to someone really dedicated, and it just gets far enough away from her quick enough that it won't ever come back to her. And you can't and I thought maybe like a friend would do like the honorable thing and like fuck her to take it and then kill himself, but then it would go right back to her. So it's like, how's this gonna end? It's either gonna have like a really interesting ending I didn't think of, or be kind of like really dumb and lackluster. And I felt like it was the second one where they just deal with it.
No, like I was hopeful for a little bit that they let go of the chain and get into why it's doing
Yeah, there's a lot of routes they could have gone,
But
and I feel like they didn't do any of those things. I don't have a false idea of what a horror movie should be, because I'm possibly like the least qualified to talk about horror movies with how frequently I see them, but I do enjoy them occasionally, and I think the most recent, not bad horror movie, but this kind of tier horror movie that I saw would have been Unfriended, which also had a lot of issues, but I feel like it explored its hook a lot more. Where it's like we have this hook where it's like going over social media and like fucking with their internet, and it doesn't just loop that over and over. It like goes into the whole like truth or dare route. It like forces her to look up stuff, and like there's a lot of issues with it, but it at least explores the premise, and I thought that was interesting. And this just doesn't do that.
Like, another complaint I had was the pacing wasn't great. Where first I had high hopes where the dude's like, what? Like, the girl in the yellow dress, like, what girl? Like, oh shit, it's right there. Let's go. Like, oh, already? We're like 0 minutes in. And then he fucks her, and then it's like, all right, bitch, you're fucking cursed. You gotta sex someone up if you don't want to die. It's gonna follow you. And it's like, oh yeah. And then, like, she's like, I'm like, what? And then, like, the thing, the first time it happens to her when she's being followed, it should have been enough, like, oh shit, he wasn't fucking around, he's telling the truth. And then, like, he gave her all the information she needed, like, let's go back and, like, ask him some questions and learn nothing new. That helps us.
I need to find him.
It's just like, don't let it go. Get out of here. What if he goes somewhere far? Like, okay, shit, it caught up to us because we stayed here for too long. Let's go back home. I'm gonna fuck someone else. Oh, rats, he died.
Right.
Like, they didn't go very far, and they're just like, all right, here we are, and let's hang out, and just
something I thought they were gonna do, because they keep like making this thing about like you can only see this thing if you are cursed.
Is they all
Like
fuck each
even not the
other?
most
Yeah.
recent.
I
Yeah,
thought
I
that
thought
was
they were gonna
gonna
have an orgy so they could all see it, because they kept making this thing where it's like
And then who
point
would
to
go
where
for
it
it?
is.
Is it getting in the water?
It's just I get, you're scared, but fucking hanging around at your house with a fucking door with a chair under the door isn't gonna do shit. Like,
Also,
go.
it like busts through windows, but then it just stands outside of doors
Yeah.
repeatedly.
Yeah,
You know?
it's I didn't need the monster to have like a backstory, but some of the things it did, it's like, why are you doing this? Not because I want to like know about your past, but it's like just because it makes no goddamn sense what you're doing.
Yeah, like the monster is dumb as shit. It just, like if it was just like a thing that morphs into different people and just walks, which is what it was for the first good majority of the movie. It's like, okay, but then it like was on top of a roof, standing still, not following.
Yeah,
it was like,
that's weird.
like, hey, here I am, bitch. Like,
That wasn't just intimidation. Like,
it's just like,
and like threw people and like picked up her hair.
that was
Ridiculous.
weird. Like,
that was campy. Like,
well, how was she trying to? Because when the one dude died from his mom, she just went right at him,
Yeah.
just like, and started fucking him to death. And then when the girl almost died when they went far away, she just like, and pulled, like just picking up her hair and just,
yeah.
you're coming with me.
It was weird.
Like she was way more violent to the friend who hit her with the chair.
Oh, it was interesting premise, and I guess if you have a couple hours to kill and have heard enough good things, you can give it a shot. But I'm not sure I would personally recommend it.
This was done parts where like they were all scrambling around the pool, like, oh fuck, like the friend shooting the other friend, the monsters chucking just typewriters and toasters into the pool,
That was
which like
just
good thing that they were playing their master plan didn't work at all because it totally fucking backfired and almost killed her. So thank God they're too retarded to have a good plan.
Put
Yeah.
the sheet on it. Like every time it interacted with real world stuff, it was weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when it like busted through the door, I don't know. Just every time it interacted with real world stuff.
Yeah, because it comes off as this like otherworldly force that like just kind of exists solely with its victim, and then other people can totally interact with it, and so I guess it's just this invisible thing that exists that is wholly physical but invisible.
Yeah.
So
But it
then
can also
it,
like chase through people.
yeah, it can go through people. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't need it to make sense. I'm not looking for like airtight physical logic
Right?
in these types of films.
Yeah.
But it definitely pulls you out of the experience, and if there's not enough other stuff there to keep you into it, then that stuff stands out.
It just melted.
Alright. Recommend?
Maybe if a friend came up to me and was like, hey, I really want to see It Follows, like,
Yeah, someone wants
Okay.
to see it and be like, do that, form your own opinion. But I wouldn't like go to the trouble to show it to either people who aren't usually into horror or people that are really into horror. Like, I don't think it would satisfy either camp unless they had an interest in specifically this movie.
yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is.
It's like one of those movies you show to your friends and like a scary thing happens and no one reacts, like, oh fuck. It's just that for the rest of the movie.
Waiting for people to laugh at you.
Oh. Now, do you want to watch some professionals talk about it?